I'm going to go off in 1 second about this weight class, and I think you're going to agree. How do you put Mariah Mills and Abigail Gonzalez on the same side? That
Yeah,
should be a finals, man.
100%. That's a
Or,
match.
or it could be a finals because on the bottom half you got Kiki Bush and Kendall Haney, but you don't put two best girls on the same side. I mean,
Yeah, and not just in the state, in the country. I
yes.
believe Abigail at this moment is ranked top 10 in the country. So is Mariah in their respective weight classes. I think they're one or two away from each other. The fact that that happened is crazy.
Run it, baby. Ricky Cheese, baby.
Hey guys, it's your boy Ricky Cheese with the FloridaWrestleRoom.com here with my boy, as usual, Alex Wisdom from FL_Wrestling Insight on Instagram. If you haven't given him a follow, head on over there, give him a follow. Man, oh man, am I excited. You guys got to be excited. Thursday starts the state championships, man. It's like Christmas morning for me, Alex. How excited are you?
A lot of good tournaments, a lot of good brackets that are out. A lot of questionable brackets too. Some matches that we could see potentially Saturday but are going to end up on Friday instead. But overall, I'm really excited.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you're doubly excited because you got a brother going for a state title. That's got to be so exciting, man.
Yeah, it is nerve-wracking, exciting, a little bit of
Right?
both, but I'm
You
excited.
know, I was going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you now so everyone can hear the answer. I remember back when I was wrestling, I wanted to win so bad. But then when my sons started wrestling, I think I wanted it for them more than I wanted it for myself. Do you want your brother to win a state title this weekend more than you wanted it for yourself?
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
I think so, right?
Even when we were wrestling at the same time, I wanted him to do better than me all the time. I know there's like sibling rivalry, but even when we were training together and wrestling together, I'd get more nervous for his tough matches than I would for mine.
I bet. I know the feeling, man. So, hey, let's jump into it. Tonight, guys, we're bringing to you who we feel are the top 10 toughest brackets by far at this weekend's state tournament, boys and girls. So, with that being said, we're going to start in the 1A and 26-pound weight class. Alex and I both feel that this is definitely one of the toughest, the top 10 in the entire tournament. So we're going to start with them first. Why do we feel that 1A, 126 is one of the top 10 toughest brackets? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Dahlin, Zerka, Giletti, Oliver, Webb, Wimberly, Tran. Is that enough for you guys? Listen to those names I just named. Wow, that's a tough weight class. Let's chop it up, Alex. We got, and listen, you got William Harvey sitting up there at 42-12, I believe from Wakulla. You can't count him out. But, if he beats Cannon Summer in the very first match, he's running right into Brock Dahlin. I'm sorry, Brock Dahlin's going to win that match in my opinion. And then you got Zerka on the same side with Dahlin. It's either going to be Giletti or Zerka. Who wins that? Giletti? I think it's going to be Dahlin and Giletti in the semis. What do you think?
I think we see a Dolan Jalili semis for sure.
Yeah.
If we look on the other side, we do see a couple tough quarterfinals matches in Zion and Ethan Tron.
Right.
I believe that if we go into maybe on paper and stuff like that, I have Ethan Tron winning that match. And then we can see an even tougher Jack Oliver versus Ethan Tron semis. So I think the quarters and semis are going to be super packed for this day. Both look to be possibility for upsets because both have been dominant. All wrestlers going into semis, our semis, have been dominant in their own right. And I think that finals match is going to be even better.
Yeah. No, you definitely can be. Wimberly's tough, man. Zion Wimberly's tough. His very first match is against a kid that nobody gave a shot to even make it to the state tournament, but he didn't listen to them, and he made it.
Mm-hmm.
Rylan Million from Sewanee Live Oak High School. He's there for the first time. Don't think that kid can't make noise. If you're there, one of the 16, you have a shot to make some noise. Just my personal opinion, man. I think everybody's got a shot.
No, 100%.
And you never know what can happen. You just never know. Wimberly can go out there overconfident, looking past the first kid, and bad things happen when you start looking past kids. You usually don't get past them. So he can't take Million for granted because that is a kid who has just enough firepower to do some crazy things. and beat some really good kids. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying Wimberley needs to take it very serious,
100%.
Yeah, so I think if I had to choose a winner for this weight class, I'm going Dahlin.
If I had to choose a winner, look on paper, no emotions attached, I gotta go Jack Oliver.
Okay.
But like I said, I know some of these kids in these bracket personally. Just watching them wrestle before and not having the opportunity to watch these others wrestle, I think Ethan Tron can upset and even go for a state title. I really do.
Like I said earlier, they're all very capable, some more capable than others. And there are some, and don't get me wrong, no crap talking, but there are some kids that will be at the state tournament that just, they're not going to win any matches. I mean, it's just the way it is. Doesn't mean they don't belong there. It just means that kids are a little bit ahead of them, and that doesn't mean anything but that they'll work harder and try to improve. But I really do think that Dahlin is going to win a state title. Something in my bones tells me that. I know he's from Bayshore and he's well coached and he wants it, and he's a tough kid. He's got a lot of family support. I'm very fond of the Dahlins, man, and what they're doing with Brock, man. So I call it 126 1A. Brock Dahlin is a state champ.
All right.
So we'll see. Giletti can prove me wrong, but we'll see. The second toughest weight class, and by the way, we're not going in any particular order. A150, Gavin Nolan, Brian Piccolo, Noah Leota, Hutchins, Asher Bacon, Odell. Wow, that's a tough weight class.
Yeah, if we look at all of these and where they ended up, the names you named ended up pretty fairly, but then we go into the semis and quarters where stuff can change. There's a possibility for a Mason Odell and Asher Bacon semis, which we haven't seen yet. And we know how tough both of these guys are, both state champs in their own prospective rights. So we have a state champ versus state champ semis. Then we go on the top side. We see Noah Leota, who proved everyone last week. And then we have Brian Piccolo, super tough wrestler, and then Gavin Nolan. So we have a Brian Piccolo, Noah Leota, who I think will be in the quarters. And then we go into the semis. I think it's going to be a Gavin Nolan versus Brian Piccolo semis.
Okay.
So it's set up for tough ability.
I want to mention something about Asher Bacon. Okay. And this has been bothering me a little bit. We did an episode, we brought him up before, and I've heard from people, and honestly I don't even remember who it was because I really didn't pay too much attention, because when I hear shit being talked, I kind of let it go one ear out the other. But they're like, oh, you're always saying he's in 7th grade, 8th grade, blah, blah, blah. Kid's 32 years old. He's driving to 8th grade. Bullshit. I confirmed it. I spoke with his father last night. Asher is 14 years old. He will turn 15 on June 17th, 2025. So well after the state tournament has been wrestled, that's when he's going to turn 15. He doesn't have his permit. He doesn't have a learner's permit. He doesn't have a license. Guys, stop hating. The kid's 14 years old, and he's a state champion already. I love it.
Yeah, he's very tough. I think Asher Bacon versus Gavin Nolan is going to be the finals that we want to see. Obviously, 3-time state champ versus state champ in his own right. Gavin Nolan is a 3-timer, maybe looking like a favorite, but they did have a 4-2 match. Asher coming out on top.
Yeah.
So adjustments will be made.
Of course.
A lot of things can happen. But who's your pick?
Asher.
If I had to pick one, I think I got to go Asher too. I just know being on this new national PA dual team over the summer, if anyone looked, he was undefeated on that team. So he's going up with some of the best of the best. And if he's 14, that means he's wrestling up an age group, which is 14U to 16U, and going undefeated. So, he's tough. If I had to pick one, I'm going to go Asher Bacon. But it's not by a long shot. I think it's going to be very close, and I think Gavin Nolan can prove us wrong and claim his 4th state title.
Bro, the kid's a 3-time state champ. He's a senior, so he's mentally more mature just because he's so much older. He's probably 18. So that's 4 years older than Asher. So with that comes, maturity. Maturity, yep. I can't say he's physically more mature because Asher's pretty put together pretty well. He's got great genetics. But look at his dad. His dad is jacked. So, it's all genetics. And don't start with all the other bullshit people. There's nothing going on there. The kid eats well. He works out like an animal. So he's just a big, strong 14-year-old with incredible technique, and he's a great athlete, and he loves to compete. So for those reasons, I think he's going to win. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Nolan steals his 4th state title. Not steal, because it's his to win, but it wouldn't surprise me if he claims his 4th title. That's the word I was looking for, claims.
Yeah, no.
But 100%. I do think that Asher's going to win a state title. And I think he's going to do it in pretty spectacular fashion by having to beat a three-timer that's a senior.
I agree.
All right. But there's a few more kids that we need to talk about in this weight class.
Of course, Mason Odell and Brian Piccolo. Let's start with Mason Odell. Mason Odell,
You know him better than me.
eighth grade state champ at 106. Now he's all the way up to 150. So, I know he did take a year off, coming back for his freshman year, and he avenged 3 losses against Brian Piccolo at the region last week, claiming the region title. But Brian Piccolo's tough, placed third at states last year, going into a stacked bracket. Then we have Noah Leota that I think he will meet in the quarters, and Noah's tough, brother to Grace Leota, but he's not no brother to Grace Leota. He is Noah Leota himself.
That's right.
He's making a name for himself, and
Right.
like I said last week, he was projected to not win the region, and he won the whole thing, and he proved everyone wrong.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
love
a
when
match.
that happens.
That's a match you can look forward to on the top side, going into the semis and then into the finals. So exciting matches all around. If anyone can make any noise and upset a lot of people, I believe it's Mason Odell. Well put together, very slick, very aggressive, has the gas tank for it. He can go all the way, and there's no surprise if he doesn't.
Yeah. No, you made very valid points there. Another kid that you can't sleep on in the 150-pound weight class for 1A is Cade Beek. I think it's Beek. It's Beke. So I think that's pronounced Beek. Cade Beek from McKeel Academy. And I'll tell you why I like this kid. He did not place at last year's state tournament. He wrestled 144 in 1A, did not place. That aside, apparently he put in the work over the summer because this year he won the 19th annual Ed Kilpatrick Classic IBT. He won the 152-pound title at the 6th annual Masung Scramble. He won the Red Devils Invitational at 150. Placed second in the district, second in the region. Who did he lose to in the region? He lost to Noah Leota, but it was 10-5. So not horrible. Still a pretty good win for Noah. But adjustments will be made, like you always say. I don't know if that'll mean anything. All I'm saying is don't sleep on Cade Beek. Cade Beek is 50 wins against 8 losses from McKeel Academy. But he's going to have to get past Aaron Robinson, I believe, from Wakulla in his first match. He's got 44 wins. If he does get past Robinson, he runs into Odell. So we'll see. But, you never know. So
And Aaron Robinson also went to states last year, too. So he's looking to make another run this year.
Yep, absolutely. But, like we both agreed, I think it's Bacon's. Bacon's.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. Let me scratch that off. So that was our number 2. Number 3, and again, these are in no order. Number 3, toughest bracket at the state tournament for the top 10 toughest will be 1A 165. And the reason that we feel that, well, let's go there. A 165. Let me know when you're there, Alex.
I'm there. A weight class I'm very strong about.
Yes, I'm going to let you start it out, but here's why. Nazario, Gallo, Florio, Driggett, McNair, and Big Bear Siegel. Let's talk about it. Tell me what you want to tell me about 1A.
So we go into the top side. We see a Gallo Florio possible quarterfinal. That's if they win their first matches, which I think they will. That's really big because Kyle Gallo ended up beating the previous number 1, Cleus Nazario, at knockout. Nazario was up 10-0, did end up getting a knee injury mid-match. Kyle Gallo came back and won. Does that mean that it's still a win? A win is a win. Cleus wrestled the whole time. Is Cleus back for blood? Probably. But Gallo and Florio, I believe, have not met each other yet. And styles can change the matchup and can change a lot of things.
Yep.
So that's a match that if you're at the state tournament, you 100% should watch. We have Bear Siegel. Granted, he wins his matches going into the semis. He will see Florio or Gallo. If we go on to the bottom side, we see Trey Driggett and Michael McNair first round matchup.
Bro, come on, man. What is that? They got to start seeding these things, man. I do not like this formula. It's not working for me.
Yeah, so we see a Trey Driggett, Michael McNair matchup, which is some of the top ranked guys in the state back to back. And then we see Cleus Nazario on the bottom side. Following up that, we could see a Nazario versus Driggett or McNair semifinals.
Yeah.
If I had to pick my state finals, I think I'm going to pick Cleus against Kyle for the rematch, which is very anticipated. And I'm going to have Cleus winning. I've been speaking strong about Cleus the whole year. I believe Cleus will win a state title this year.
Okay. Now, in the very first match, Torian Johns from Swanee wrestles Angel Prieto from, I believe, Bishop Moore, right? Prieto?
Yes.
Okay. So Who wins that match? Because the winner of that match is getting Calais.
I will go Torrin Johns, just
Torrin
because
Johns?
you have a state duel runner up and state duel again this year, performance and qualification for Sewanee. I don't believe Bishop Moore went to the state duel tournament. Plus, Torrin Johns is around some of the best in the state and top contenders for a state title in multiple weight classes. So I believe Torrin Johns may have the mindset and may change things up. Doesn't mean that Angel Prieto isn't ready.
Right. Do you know who beat Torian Johns at the region?
Who?
Bear Siegel.
Bear Siegel's tough.
Bear Siegel's tough as shit, man. I've been saying it to everybody. He doesn't get enough credit. I'm sick of it. The kid needs more credit. He's a hard worker. He loves the sport. And he's got 59 wins on the year against only 8 losses. Listen, as much as I love the kid, as much as I respect him, I'm a little bit worried about that. I don't like that matchup. I don't like that Alex Roman matchup from Avon Park.
Yeah, so Alex Roman is also a very tough kid.
Man. Yes.
We'll see
Have
how
they
things.
wrestled before?
I don't believe so. We'll see how things go. I know Bear. I know his dad. I was on a national team with Bear when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Very tough kid. Very passionate about the sport. It's gonna be tough though. I think if Bear puts his cards together and does the right things, he can make the state semis. But his state semis will be his toughest match going into it.
Yeah. Well, Roman, Bear's very first match, is a returning state placer, man. He placed 6th last year.
So it's gonna be tough.
At the same weight class, 165.
Yeah, so he's familiar with the weight class, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be tough.
Yeah.
So
And this is a new weight class for Bear.
it is. So we'll see what happens.
That impresses me even more about Bear. He went out there.
Is it a new weight class for Bear? Because I believe he was in.
I thought he was at 57 last year, but I could be wrong.
I think he was in Kendrick Hodges' weight class the year
Okay.
before.
Okay. Well, either way,
Either way,
no matter
though,
where
yeah.
he was last year, I'm pretty impressed that he went out there and he beat a state placer to win his region, man. So
Yeah.
good for him. So yeah, Nazario, Gallo, Florio, Driggett, McNair, Siegel, those are the top guys in that weight class that we think. So I haven't decided who is going to win it. Who'd you say? Nazario?
I said Calais, just because his offseason resume has been great. He beat the number 15 kid in the nation from PA, and he's beaten 3-time state champs, and he's a 2-time state finalist. Now he's going into this year. He's been dominant. His closest match this year was with Frankie Florio, I believe, which was a 4-2 match at the region last week.
What happened with Gallo and Florio? Have they wrestled yet?
I don't believe so. Like I said, that's a match that's going to be looked forward to because of stylistic wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go with Kyle Gallo from Zephyr Hills Christian to win the state title in that weight class.
No.
But I do think the kids that we mentioned have strong shots at being on the podium.
Yeah, no, I agree too. I think those kids that we mentioned will be on the podium.
Yep. So it's going to be Bear Siegel and Kyle Gallo in the semis is what I think, because I don't think Frankie Florio is getting past Gallo.
It's tough. It hurts because I know Frankie personally, but
Yeah.
he's going to have a tough matchup. He's going to have his hands full.
Listen, when my son Bryce was at American Heritage for the 1 year that he was there, Frankie was there. And that's the year that he won a state title.
Yeah, it is.
So
So he's not someone to be counted out.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. And he's Cardinal Gibbons trained now, so he's got a tough room. So far we've named our 3 out of our top 10. The next one we're going to talk about is a 190. Why do we feel this is one of the toughest brackets? It's not loaded with great kids, but the great kids that they do have are really solid. Petey Mako. Then you've got Washington, Derek Washington Jr. from Evangelical Christian, Jeremiah Chavis, and Soto. Chavis is 50-1 on the year. Mako 45-1 on the year, and Mako's loss was not. It was not to Chavis. Who was it to?
Damian Soto of Matter Lakes
Right.
was at the region last week, sudden victory 13-10.
That blew me away, man.
And the week before that, Mako pinned Soto in the district finals.
That's what blew me away. When you told me that a week before he stuck him, and then this kid comes back and makes it a match, and not just makes it a match, gets payback. You got to respect that, man.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the, like you said, maturity and seniority of Damian Soto, he's a 2-time state finalist. We look at Mako, he took his first loss of his career last week.
Yeah.
The year before, when he won a state title, undefeated, was undefeated until coming up to the region this week. So I know that's going to light a fire under him,
Of
and he's
course.
going to want to destroy everyone that comes in his path now.
Yeah, he will.
The
But
thing the thing is, Jeremiah Chavis
yeah,
has been absolutely dominant this year. I don't know who his one loss is against to, but this kid, I've seen him wrestle. He's huge. He's only a freshman. He's bigger than some seniors I know, and he has probably one of the best underhooks in the state that I've seen.
yeah.
He's insane.
Dude, his physique is scary. His strength is scary. His competitiveness is scary. But then again, so is Mako's. So what do you think we're going to be looking at? A Mako Chavis finals?
I believe Mako and Chavis will have a part two in the finals.
Okay. So Chavis takes out Soto in the semis?
I believe so,
Yeah, I do too.
but like I said, anything can happen.
Yep.
Mako beat Chavis last year in the state finals, and Soto just beat Mako. That's probably better. Not probably is better from last year's.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. If I have to go just off of paper, I'll go Chavis and Mako finals.
Same.
And I will say that the Chavis and Mako finals that happened last year will not be a pinfall. It will be a super close, tight match. That's what I believe it will.
I believe so too. So two kids that I want to mention that we did not mention in this weight class, Christian McGarity and Aaron McCarty from Robinson. Both solid wrestlers, both have over 40 wins. McGarity has 57 wins. McCarty has 43 wins, and they're wrestling in the very first round. I don't understand it, but whatever. Their formula is their formula. But here's the thing, man. Whoever wins that match, they're getting Chavis the next match in the quarters. So not a really good place to be sitting. But with that being said, I've seen plenty of kids lose in the quarters, come back and make the podium. So I'm looking for McCarty to be on the podium.
I think you can do it. I really do.
Yeah, he definitely can. And then you got, Derek Washington Jr. will be there somewhere. He's 45-2, but again, he's going to get Mako in the semis.
Yeah.
So,
And a tough Christopher Bronson in the quarters.
Yeah, from Palm Bay.
Yeah.
Tough.
Can't count him out either.
No. All right, let's move on to our next top weight class that we feel is in the top 10. This might be my toughest one, I think. Let's go to 2A 120.
It is the toughest one. I'll tell you right now. It is the toughest one, in my opinion.
2A 120 is one of the top 10 toughest weight classes at the state tournament. Jacob Bucci, Matty Ireland, Alzito Ortiz, Jake Austin, Lucas Barrios, Nolan Holoko from Martin County.
And Malachi Ortiz.
Yeah, I said Alzito Ortiz. That's a whole nother kid. Malachi Ortiz, state champ. So you got state champ, state placer, and soon-to-be state champ, Barrios. I'm taking Barrios to win that whole damn thing as an 8th grader.
I'm taking Barrios too. If we look at past matches, first off, let's just talk about Lucas Barrios real quick.
Okay.
He's in
You
8th
know
grade.
a lot more about him, so I'm
do.
gonna default to you.
So I'm very close friends with Lucas and his family. Great people, great wrestler. And this isn't any bias. He's #1 in the state, not just for ours, but multiple different sources for a reason. And his resume over the summer backs that up. And the year before that too, he's in middle school wrestling high school division, claiming national titles, Southeast preseason nationals, GFC, NHSCA, Super 32. You name it, he's probably been there, and he's probably has a national title for it. He's super tough. He has a win over Malachi Ortiz in the offseason, I believe. And I think it was a 5-2, 4-2 match. It was close. Then we look at high school elite, which he wrestled as a middle schooler. And he beat someone that Jake Austin lost to 8-0. Jake Austin lost to that person 8-0. Lucas Barrios beat that kid 4-2. So if you just look at familiar matchups and head-to-heads, Lucas has it right here. Now, it looks like he has a dominant way into the semis. Well, he'll be facing Jake Austin. Then, in the finals, I believe Malachi Ortiz will also be there. Now, it's just a matter of who shows up, who wrestles. But the top 3 guys in this weight class are undoubtedly the top 3, and that will be in the podium.
Yeah. Well, I watched him wrestle a couple of times this year. The one match that sticks out to me the most was at the Braves Invitational. It was Lucas Barrios against Giovanni Tovar. Mm-hmm. That was the finals. Now, Tovar won it 7-4. I heard they wrestled a few times. Do you know if Barrios has any wins over Tovar?
So he doesn't. And
Does
they have
not.
wrestled a few times. Giovanni Tovar is one of the best kids in the state, undoubtedly.
One of the best in the nation.
I agree. One of the best in the nation, should be on that national ranking. The first time they wrestled, Tovar pinned Barrios. I believe the second time they wrestled, it was that time, the 7-4 matchup. So
Yeah.
adjustments were made. Can Lucas beat Tovar? Absolutely. Does Tovar have his number at the moment? Yes, he does. So things can change up and things can happen.
We're going to find out, man. That's going to be an interesting matchup with him and Jake Austin, former state champ. What round was that?
So they'll see each other if everything goes right in the semifinals. But in the rounds leading up to it, it should be leaning more towards their own personal sides. If you look at the top side, the Malachi Ortiz could see Jacob Bucci in the semis, and I believe that was the state finals last year, correct?
So who are those two names?
Malachi Ortiz and Jacob Bucci. Was
Yeah,
that not the same?
I think so.
Right? And
Yeah.
the score was super close. Jacob Bucci went for a desperation shot, and with like 10 seconds left, 5 seconds left, Malachi got the win. But, things can change now. Let's see what happens.
So yeah, Bucci's tough. Ireland's tough. But here's the thing with Ireland: if he beats Nolan Holoko from Martin County, which I think he will, his next quarters match is Bucci. If Bucci beats Ryan St. Dennis, which I think he will, so Bucci's gonna get past Ireland. And no disrespect to Maddie, I love him. I just think Bucci is better at this point. So then that'll put Bucci in the semis. And that's where he's going to see Malachi Ortiz. So you're going to have two state finalists, a state champ and a state finalist going at it in the semis. So that'll be great semis. And on the other end, we both feel it's going to be Barrios. He'll beat, well, I think Xavier Chavez. Do you think he beats Tyler White in the first match? Tyler White from Lake Gibson?
It's a possibility. I think so, but I think Tyler White can also win it. I think it's a toss-up.
Okay, so depending on who's there, Barrios wins. He goes into the semis probably against Jake Austin.
Jake Austin.
Yeah. So the 120 and 2A, those two semis matches are going to be worth the price of admission.
Oh, 100%.
So let's assume Jake Austin beats Barrios. Okay. Just on experience and being a former state champ, he knows how to win, obviously. So let's assume he goes to the finals on the bottom side. And let's assume
Malachi.
Yeah, let's assume Malachi Ortiz takes out Bucci, and now we got a Jake Austin Malachi Ortiz finals. Who wins that?
Well, this year they've wrestled twice. The first time Jake Austin won. The second time Malachi Ortiz won.
Do you know what the scores were?
Very close.
Okay,
Very close.
I'm gonna go with.
I'm gonna go with Malachi.
I'm gonna go opposite. I'm not. I'm going with Austin.
Yeah. So,
I'm gonna
but
go with Austin.
no hypotheticals and just personal opinion. I have Lucas Barrios winning the whole thing.
Really?
I do. I think Lucas Barrios will win the whole thing.
I was gonna say that, but then I started thinking about how damn tough friggin' Jake Austin is, man. He really is tough as hell.
Yeah, he is.
55-3. He's been there before. He's trained under Blasucci. Now he's training under, the Charlotte coaches, Evan Robinson, who's a D1 guy from Purdue. It's hard to pick against a kid like that.
Yeah, it is.
So that's all right. You're going to go with Barrios.
Barrios.
I'm going with Jake Austin.
Yeah,
All right. So next, 190 girls. How's that?
I agree. Let's do it.
That-
190 girls has 3 state champs in that weight class.
That's crazy.
We look at Grace Leota from Hernando, 2-time state champ. Serenity Whitting, state champ last year, was a bracket buster technically. And then we have Cheyenne Cruz, 2-time state champ from Middleburg, who was, I believe, was it the 235-pound state champ, right? Before, and then went down a weight class. So we have Cheyenne and Serenity on the same side of the bracket. We have Grace Leota on the top side. Seeing how things turn out, I mean, Grace, I have Grace winning the whole thing. Grace is ranked number 3 in the nation, one of the top 190 pounders in the country, not just in the state. Undefeated, Iron Woman champion, Super 32 finalist. There's a lot going for Grace, and I believe that this is her weight class to win. Can anything happen? Absolutely. But if we look at the bottom side, we look at Serenity, and then we look at Cheyenne Cruz. And Cheyenne has had some tough upset losses this year. When she was at 235, she has a couple losses to Retrieva Clermont, who's very tough, but she's not a 2-time state champ, and she's also not nationally ranked Cheyenne Cruz. So for Cheyenne to lose to her twice this year is a big deal. Could it be the weight class different? Possibly. Maybe that's why she's at 190. But then we look at Cheyenne Cruz going into the quarters. She has a really tough and Fargo All-American undefeated Latoya Silvestri from South Broward. Latoya is extremely tough. Like I said, Fargo All-American. So she can pull things out, and she knows how to throw, especially for those bigger girls. And she's really tough. I had the opportunity to watch her wrestle at the region, and she can definitely cause an upset. We look at the top side, we could see a Serenity Whitting versus Cheyenne Cruz or Latoya Silvestri semifinals. Or we could see even Annie Brown, who's a multiple-time state placer. So anything can happen.
Let me talk about that for a second, not to cut you off, but there's a name that I want to mention in the girls 190, Tarina Rushing from Mosley. She's 31-2. She won the region. How did she win the region? By pinning Annie Brown from Matanzas. So Tarina Rushing from Mosley. I don't think a lot of people know too much about her, other than in North Florida, of course. Her first match at regionals, she it was a forfeit. But then she wrestled Destiny Bass Boston of Haggerty, and she pinned her. And then she had Cheyenne Cruz, and she beat Cruz pretty handily, 7-1. And then she pinned Annie Brown. So that is your bracket buster right there.
Absolutely.
She can go through everybody, and nobody's even really paying attention because everyone's paying attention to Annie Brown, Leota, Cruz. But no, Leota's going to win it. Nobody's beating her. I don't think. Could it happen? Yeah, of course it could happen, but we'll see.
All right, next weight class.
Back to the boys, 132. All right. So the reason we chose that was for these names: Reed Yakes, Bonaccia, Dooley Brutus, Jaden Weiskell, Herrera, Aiden Bama, Christian Fretwell, Luke Arthur. I'm shivering with those names. Those are tough kids, man. And then don't forget Ben Norris, Jensen Beach.
Yeah, Ben Norris is also very, very tough. He won the region last week. A very controversial matchup with Dooley Brutus, but if we focus on the state tournament, Christian Fretwell is the favorite here. How
did Rylan Herrera from Clay fall to number 4 in the region? He's got Aiden Bama in the very first match. That's not a good draw for Bama, and it's a horrible draw for Herrera. Those two kids should not be meeting in the very first match. What happened? Do we know?
I don't know. Like you said, anything can happen, especially in the state tournament series with the region. But if you look at weight classes here, we have Christian Fretwell, who's the favorite. I believe most of his losses.
It has to be.
His losses are out of state at the Ironman tournament. And if you look around Christian Fretwell, Ben Norris, who was a state placer last year, got 6. Dooley Brutus, who was a state placer last year, got 6. Sebastian Bonaccia, who I believe got 3rd last year. Stacked weight classes. Rylan Herrera, who's also very tough. Aiden Baum,
he's a state finalist last year. He took 2nd in the state, which is why I'm saying, if he's a state finalist, how did he get 4th in the region? Something had to happen.
Something had to happen. And then Aiden Bama, who's also very tough.
And they're meeting first match.
Yeah, so if you look at the top side, I believe just straight off of just consistency and just getting better every year, I think we can see Bonaccia in the semis.
Well, it's going to be Yakes and Bonaccia in the quarters.
And that's really tough because correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Reed Yakes an All-American at Fargo or no?
What was that question?
Is Reed Yakes a Fargo All-American or no?
I don't know if I think he is. I think Reed was an All-American. I'm not positive on that though.
It could be someone else, but like I said, both super tough kids that are going to see each other in the second round. But Reed Yakes has Dooley Brutus too, who Dooley Brutus, like I said, is a state placer from last year. He his 6th. So.
But his very first match, he's wrestling Yakes. Yakes is a BB wrestling nerd, man.
Yeah, he's super tough.
Yep.
This weight class can be called anywhere, but I know for one thing, Christian Fretwell will be in the state finals.
How do you think the match is going to go with Fretwell and Luke Arthur? You think he's just going to easy walkthrough?
I mean, Fretwell does have a major decision win, almost a tech over someone I'm very fond of, Lincoln Sledgianowski, who placed 3rd at PA States last year.
Right.
So I do believe that Fretwell will dominate.
Okay.
All the way through this tournament, going into the finals, and actually I think he will dominate through the whole tournament. I will call it right now. I think Christian Fretwell, healthy Christian Fretwell will dominate through this tournament.
I think we're going to see a Ben Norris, Jensen Beach, Christian Fretwell, Lake Gibson semis.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be tough too.
Yeah, and on the top half, I think I'm going, man, it's hard to pick against a state finalist, but I think Aiden Bama is going to take him out in that first match. So I'm going to go Bama in the semis. against Yakes or Bonaccia. I'll go Yakes.
I'm gonna go Sebastian Bonaccia, Rylan Herrera. I think Rylan's gonna fix some things and get to the semis.
Okay. Hey, man, listen, he's a state finalist for a reason. He'll make the adjustments. We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah,
Either way, it's going to be a fantastic match.
yeah. And then in the finals, I have Bonaccia versus Fretwell, and I have Fretwell taking it all.
Yeah, Fretwell's going to win it. That's our clear-cut choice.
Yeah.
All right, so that was 2A 132. Next is 2A 165. Draven McCall, got Contreras, you got Hussam Mustafa, Bloomy DeVilma, Lewis, Gonzalez, Adonis Severe. Just goes on and on, man. On and on and on.
Yeah.
Very tough weight class. Julian Gonzalez is 38-1, man. That kid, I had him ranked number 1 for like 4 or 5 weeks in a row. Very tough kid. So on the bottom side, you've got Julian Gonzalez on the same side with Sam Mustafa, but Blooney's in there as well. Now, most likely, Mustafa and DeVilma are going to meet in the quarters. Who wins that match?
I have Bloomy DeVilma. I know Hussam looks like the favorite on paper for that match, but I think Bloomy DeVilma will win. I think Bloomy DeVilma will make the semifinals against Julian Gonzalez.
Why do you feel DeVilma will beat Mustafa? For what reasons?
I've watched both of them wrestle. First off, Sam is very tough. No disrespect to him. He can get to all his shots super long, uses his length to his advantage.
Yes.
But Bloomy DeVilma has the same exact thing Sam has. Very long, can get to his shots too, but Blooney is extremely athletic with a gas tank. So when you take someone that's extremely athletic with a gas tank, you get someone very dangerous, and I think that's Blooney DeVilma. Has one of the most beautiful blast doubles I've ever seen. But not only that, he has multiple other attacks, all super explosive, and he can get to anywhere. He really can.
That could be a problem for Sam because Sam, like you said, he's a tall, lanky kid, man. If he's shooting blast doubles and he's just firing them off, he's going to get one. So, Sam's going to have to watch that, maybe, wrestle from a knee or low, but I'm sure Walker already knows all that stuff. No secrets. But yeah, no, I'm going to go with Sam on that. I think Sam beats DeVilma in the quarters and gets to the semis. Who's he going to wrestle? I think it's going to be Julian Gonzalez from North Fort Myers on the bottom side of the bracket. Do you feel that's a possibility?
I feel it's a possibility. I feel it's gonna be a Blooney versus Julian
Okay.
semis, and I'll go on a limb here and say I think it's gonna be a Blooney. Blooney's gonna be in the state finals. That's what I feel.
Awesome. But we do agree Julian Gonzalez will be in the semis again.
Oh yes,
One of those
yes,
two.
yeah, we do agree on that.
All right, and then on the top side, Draven McCall, of course.
Draven McCow's gonna be in the state finals.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
going to win it.
He's been absolutely dominant this year, 2-time state champ. One of his losses actually is against Kyle Gallup, who's at a weight class we talked about. But besides that, I mean, Draven's tough. I don't know where his other 2 losses are from, possibly out of state kids. But yeah, he's a great wrestler.
How many losses does he have this year?
3.
3 losses. I wonder who they were to.
Me too.
I'm looking right now. Well, he's got some of his significant wins this year was he beat Mac Andrews at the Cradle Cancer decision. He beat Gabe Hightower at the knockout decision. He beat Calais Nazario, tiebreaker. He also beat James Bowers at the knockout, Luis Balan at the state duels, Wyatt Ledoux. He's beaten all these top kids, Leonard Gilly. He's beaten them all.
Yeah.
But, hold on. But if anybody can step in and catch McCall and beat him, first of all, McCall would have to make a couple of mistakes, but I really do believe Mustafa can do that. So I don't know, man. I have to say Draven McCall, it will be my favorite to win it, but we'll see. We'll see. He's going to win it. But I think he might have a close match or two. But again, we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Next.
And Malachi Lewis from Niceville is tough too, so he'll be in the mix.
Yeah. No.
All right, so next, A165. There we go. That's tough, bro. I'm going to let you start this one out.
Well, I know we have top guys, the top 3 especially, in this weight. But if you talk about someone specifically, if you talk about Willie White has been absolutely dominant this season. 53-0, ranked number 41 in the nation, and placing 3rd last year, coming into this year. He's going to dominate his way to a state title. He's being some of the best kids in the state, not just in 3A, but in every classification. Willie White will tech or pin his way through the state tournament.
You're crazy, dude.
And I will say that now because he's already teched Mac Andrews multiple times in the first and second.
Okay.
He's already teched Drake Bonnie multiple
Mm-hmm.
times.
Mm-hmm.
He's teched Andres de Gregoli. Actually, it was 1 point away from a tech.
Okay.
But he hasn't wrestled Vladislav Chechovsky,
Thank you. Who's
so
43 and 0?
who's 43-0. Do I think that's going to change anything? No, I think Willie White will still tech or pin his way through the state tournament.
That's
I
a
really,
bold statement against a 43 and 0 kid. Although he is only a sophomore, so Willie's definitely going to be more physically mature. And it's all going to come down to a mistake for Vlad. I think Vlad will have to wrestle a perfect match to take out Willie because Willie's great, man. He really is. Love the kid.
at worst, majors for Willie White. That's how I'm that strong about it.
You know what? I'm going to say Chechkovsky is going to shock the world, and he's going to win this tournament.
Okay, all right,
Hey, I got to go out on a limb with something, right? I might as well be that one.
yeah,
Willie may prove me wrong, and that's cool. I love being proved wrong. I've been waiting for Vlad to lose, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
He's beating everybody. The kid's good, man.
It is,
You're not
and
43-0 for no reason.
no, you're not. And I think it's going to be a Willie versus Mac semis. Love Mac's family. Love him as he's a
So do
great
I.
wrestler. But Mac needs to get over that South Dade hump. You know what I mean? And he hasn't yet. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he makes some adjustments, changes his style. But I still think Willie is going to dominate his way to a state title. We look on the top side. Drake Bonnie, great wrestler. His brother's also amazing too. I think Drake Bonnie will also be in the semis, and he'll face Vlad. What I personally think, I think Drake can beat Vlad, and I think Drake will be in the finals with Willie White, which will be a rematch in the district and region, I believe. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to say it's going to be a Willie versus Bonnie finals.
It could be because Vlad has to get past Leonard Gilly first, and he's no joke from Miami Southridge.
Yeah, Southridge, exactly.
You know,
And
yeah, he's
Leonard
got 15 losses on the year, but he's wrestling all those Dade counties.
yeah, he's
guys,
wrestling
man.
all those tough guys.
Right. So
Yeah,
you might be right with Willie White, but I'm still going with Vlad. All right,
yeah,
so that's
I
that.
agree.
All right, so we are now at honorable mentions now. 57. Let's do it. Oh, that's your brother's weight class.
Yeah,
All right, so we already know who's going to win that. You think your brother's going to win it, which you better say that because you wouldn't be a good brother. But let's chop it up a little bit. We got up top Wyatt Leduc from Middleburg, 50 wins and 4 losses, tough as hell. He's probably going to see Chase Utley or Utley from where's he from? What's POCH?
Port Charlotte.
Port Charlotte, that's correct. So Chase Utley or Utley from Port Charlotte will probably wrestle Leduc in the quarters. I would probably say Leduc on that one, and then Eric Hodge will meet him in the semis.
I will say, because of Eric Hodges' side, Eric Hodge will be in the state finals.
Yeah,
He will see Jerry Ware, in my opinion, in the quarters. Jerry Ware's very tough, but Eric Hodge
but
is
he's not Eric Hodge tough.
he's not Eric Hodge right now. Eric Hodge does have a win over Leduc too, I believe.
Yeah.
A significant win as well. Eric Hodge will be in the semis. Then we go to the bottom side. KJ Vasquez, tough kid, Fargo All-American, state finalist as a freshman. 6 losses to the year, but I believe 2 of those are to Hodge.
Pan Am medalist.
Pan Am medalist, exactly. It's going to be tough. And we have Isaiah Zatoni too, Drew Holmquist, all great wrestlers.
Yeah, well, Drew's got to get past Armando Wisdom, your brother, and not because he's your brother, but look, man, the kid's 37-1. He just lost his first friggin' match at regionals, and I forgot. I'm sorry.
To Eric Hodge, yeah.
Hodge, that's right. And was it a beating or was it a close match?
No, it was a beating. I mean, the first period he wrestled well. It was 3-0. Going into the second period, he made a couple mistakes and then ended up getting pinned in the
Can't do
third.
that.
So, can't make those stuff against Eric Hodge.
I got to go with KJ only
Yeah.
because I don't know Wisdom as much as I know KJ, and KJ has the credentials behind him that Armando does not at this time.
Of course, 100%.
But I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. No, I think it will happen. We're training. We're doing the things we need to do to win those
sure.
matches.
Yep.
So.
Hey, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, man. I wish everybody the best of luck. I just hope nobody gets hurt at this tournament because every year we always see something happening. Knock on wood, everyone's going to leave the same way they came in. But let's move on into that weight class. So, so I think it's going to be a KJ and a who'd we say on the other upper side? Hodge. KJ and Hodge. It's going to be a great final, man. Great final. All right, so that was one of the honorable mention ones that we had. And let's do girls 110.
Yeah.
Let me get out of this one and go back to the girls. Dude, I'm going to go off in 1 second about this weight class, and I think you're going to agree. Just bear with me 1 second.
I think I know what you're going to say.
It's just stupid, man. Like, how do you put Mariah Mills and Abigail Gonzalez on the same side? That
Yeah.
should be a finals, man.
100%. That's a match.
Or it could be a finals because on the bottom half you got Kiki Bush and Kendall Haney, but you don't put two of the two best girls on the same side. I mean,
Yeah. And not just in the state, in the country. I believe
yes.
I believe Abigail at this moment is ranked top 10 in the country. So is Mariah in their respective weight classes. I think they're 1 or 2 away from each other. The fact that happened is crazy, but both of them are gonna, for lack of a better terms, do worse than they did the year before.
Yeah.
Abigail got second. Mariah Mills won states. One of those girls is going to get third,
Right.
which sucks. And especially Mariah being a senior, Abigail being a phenomenal freshman. But, no one wants to decrease from what they did last year. And maybe it's going to be a mental block heading into that. But that match is going to be tough. I think, I'm going to call it right now, this is going to be the semifinals to watch, regardless of boys or girls. This is going to be the semifinal match to watch. And
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be close. I would be extremely surprised if this ends up in a major, even over 5 points, a 5-point gap.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Listen, man, Abigail Gonzalez, you should go by Abby or Abigail.
I don't know.
I'll call her Abigail.
Yeah.
So Abigail Gonzalez, as an 8th grader last year, if you recall, she was in the state finals against the best girl in the country from Lake Gibson, who's now one of the top ranked college females right now.
Yeah, Gabrielle Tedesco.
Gabby Tedesco, that's right. And she gave Gabby everything she could handle.
She did. I believe she took her down, caught her in a cradle, got back points. It was close, and a lot of people really opened their eyes to who Abigail really was, because I know they had Tedesco running through the tournament.
Yeah.
So the fact that Tedesco almost got pinned is crazy. Obviously, with great Madder Lake's coaching, I'm sure she was prepared for that moment. Now she's in Southridge. Great coaching as well. Have some of the best kids in the state in multiple weight classes. But, it's going to be a semifinals to watch.
If it happens, and I say if because you have to take into consideration that nobody's guaranteed to make it to the semis. And the reason I bring that up is because in the quarters, Mariah Mills will not most likely, she's going to face Julia Bricado from Sun Lake. Now, is Mills better than Bricado? Right now, you have to say yes because of her credentials and what she's done. Bricado has had some injuries, but she's good now. She's coming back. She's had some really great matches. Can she knock off Mills in a quarterfinals match? Anything can happen. Is it most likely going to happen? No, most likely Mills will do what Mills does and find a way to win. But don't count out Bricado. Don't count her out. I'm telling you that right now. Do I think Mills is going to win? I do. I do, just because of, their past, what they've done. But don't count her out. She's a tough kid. With that being said, let's talk about the bottom half. That's a tough bottom half too, because you've got Kiki Bush from Hernando, transferred from Hudson. Now she's been in that Hernando room all year, banging with those tough girls. But again, another tough quarterfinals match, Bush and Natalia Chokaganza from Ponte Vedra. Tough
I think
girl.
that's 100% going to happen.
Oh yeah, it will.
And even on the bottom side, Kendall Haney versus Zoe McDonald is going to be very tough as well. I think if we, take this into consideration, look into paper and stuff like that, we can see a Kiana Bush versus Kendall Haney a rematch.
Correct.
Kendall Haney beat Kiana Bush
She did.
at the knockout. And actually, the knockouts where Kendall Haney solidified herself as who she is, and she definitely got eyes on her.
Man, I've been saying it since before the year started. I said, keep your eye out. They call her Stomp Knocker. I said it on multiple podcasts. I've made multiple posts. And guess what? Now people are starting to listen to me because they see it. They know who she is now. She's the real deal.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be a Kiki versus Kendall semifinals.
Me too.
I highly do think it's going to be an Abby versus Mariah semifinals.
Yeah, most likely.
For me, I think this is a very hard choice. I've had multiple people contact me, ask me how I feel about this Abby versus Mariah semifinals and what will happen. And both great wrestlers. If I had to choose one by a 51-49 percentage margin, I'm going to go Mariah Mills. but if anyone can upset Mariah Mills, it's Abigail Gonzalez. If you go into the bottom side, Kiana Bush versus Kendall Haney, I think Kiana is going to have her stuff figured out, going to make some adjustments, and I think we could see a state finals that a lot of people have actually wanted to see, which is a Mariah versus Kiki Bush
Yeah.
state finals.
Sure, that can definitely happen. So that'll be interesting to watch too. The other honorable mention is girls 115. Let's chop it up a little bit.
Another
Your number
great
one strong favorite is Lashinsky.
Yeah, you have Lashinsky. I've told you since the beginning of the year. I have Beyonce Espinoza. They're going to meet in the semis. Again, number 1 and 2, both nationally ranked, and they're meeting in the semis. Makes no sense, but it's past it.
Another one where they're putting two of the best girls. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Grace Lashinsky's ranked number 27 in the country. Beyonce's ranked number 29 in the country. Both on that Flow Top 30 list.
Yes.
Both amazing wrestlers. But I've been saying this since the beginning of the year. I have Beyonce Espinoza, and Beyonce Espinoza will win a state title this year. Her hardest match will be Grace Lashinsky from D-Land. Is it D-Land, right? I know I pronounced it.
DeLand.
DeLand.
Uh-huh.
I know I pronounced stuff wrong.
No, you're
But
good.
Beyonce and Grace semifinals, which will also be one of the best semifinals to watch at the state tournament. Go.
Yeah, Kaja Williams.
Kaja Williams
Kaja,
too.
I'm sorry, Kaja Williams. What's PCS? I forgot.
Parrish.
Okay, so Parrish, that's right. She's tough, man. 34-1.
But she has a tough first round, Cameron Lord.
She does. And if she gets past her, and she'll probably have she'll definitely have either Emma Kaza of Wellington or Sigrun Metzger of Crestview. Let's assume it's Wellington. I'm just going by records. She has a better record. So let's just assume it's Kaza from Wellington. Williams will probably win that match. And then who's she meeting? Emma Bachnight?
I believe so.
Yeah, me
I
too.
know Emma has a win over Jaslyn Diaz, but Jaslyn Diaz is also, I believe, multiple-time state placer. Not having the year that we've usually seen her have.
Now, people have caught up to Jazz.
Yeah, people have caught up to her, but there's still a possibility that Jazz can do Jazz things.
Of course.
Do I think that Emma Bachnight will win and also beat Grace Diaz in the quarters or Mackenzie Alcraft? Yes. I think Emma Bachnight will make the state finals. Who she's going to go up against? I believe she'll go up against Beyonce Espinoza. I think Emma Bachnight will finally get over that hump and make that state final she's been wanting. But Beyonce does have a win over Bachnight.
Are you telling me that 34-0 Grace Lashinsky will not be in the state finals? Is that what you're saying?
Sadly, because of this bracket, yes, I do believe so.
I love it, man. I think you're out of your freaking mind, but I love it.
I want to be proved wrong. I know Grace is really, really cool. Tough worker,
she's
but
so good, man.
I'm just, this is probably one of my only few picks that may have a little bit of bias to it just because of the connections of people I'm with that are talking to me about adjustments they're making and just everything. I mean, if you've seen what I've seen, you may also change your mind.
I get it. Well, the three girls with the best records on the top side of that bracket are Lashinsky at 34-0. Don't forget Catalina Kenny from Vieira, 43-1. She's going to wrestle Lashinsky in the quarters.
She is.
So what if Lashinsky gets knocked off in the quarters? Would that be like the biggest bust of the state tournament if that happened?
It would be. I mean, Lashinsky.
One of them, right?
Yeah, Lashinsky, I know she mentioned not wrestling her best at regionals. She did get caught to multiple sources. She still won the region, but, at the state tournament, we can't let these mistakes happen because they catch up.
Yes. So watch out for Catalina Kenny because that's not a guarantee. So if she gets
and
past
Haley
that,
Motor, too. Haley Motor.
I was just going to mention, don't forget Haley Motor out of First Baptist Naples, another really tough girl. And unfortunately, Lily Powell from Gulf Breeze does have South Dade's Espinoza, her very first match. But that might not be a horrible thing for her. It may work out well. She might, have a better path through the wrestlebacks to get on the podium. Who knows what happens? You just don't know, man. But yeah, guys, those are our top 10 toughest brackets for the state tournament. What do you think? Are we idiots? Are we spot on? What do you feel? Drop a comment below. This will be out tomorrow at some point, I would imagine. So tell us what you guys think. But those are our top 10. I'm really looking forward to this state tournament. I'm pretty excited. When are you going up there? You'll be up there Thursday?
Tomorrow I'll be out at the roll around.
Nice. Man, the roll around's on Wednesday. That's right. Man, I wish I could just take off work and go, but the bill's got to get paid by somebody, right?
Yeah.
My wife can't do it all by herself, man. We're 2 household incomes. So, all right,
Yeah.
guys, we love you. We'll see you at the state tournament. Please follow the Florida Wrestling Room Facebook page. YouTube channel. I put a post earlier for all new subscribers to our YouTube channel. You'll get a promo code to get your first month free when you subscribe to the TFWR official website, thefloridawrestling.com. So if you want that first month free, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps us out a lot, guys. It's free to do it. Hit the damn button and follow us. So have a great night. And remember, keep on what?
Grinding for greatness.
That's what I'm talking about. My boy Alex, he knows what's up. All right, Alex, have a great night. We'll talk again
You
later.
too. Thank you.
All right, man.